welcome back to the channel. Today I will be doing my first ever review on a kit. A big thank you to my friend Huy Ta for sending me this kit on my birthday. It is going to go right alongside my real grade new Gundam. And in this, it's not just a typical review. I'm going to do a review and a future plans type of video, because I do plan on fully painting this kit and doing a custom paint job just like I did on the new Gundam. So in this, I want to go over what I'm going to be doing with it and break it down kind of in steps, as well as doing my impressions on the kit. First off, I want to start with this 360 view that I have going on here. This is a solid kit. It's hefty, it's bulky, the proportions are very, very, very neat, and the build, for the most part, was super enjoyable. You'll probably see that there's some sanded surfaces and such, because I sanded surfaces and got rid of all the nubs as I was building this, so it took me a lot longer. But if you're gonna paint a kit, I highly suggest just taking care of every piece while you're building it, because it makes going into the paint process way faster, way easier. But the shelf presence alone on this guy is insane. As you can see, it comes with a little bitty char, and for a 1/44 scale real grade, this thing is bigger than my master grade heavy arms, which I know is a smaller kit, but it's still a master grade. This is a real grade that's the size of a small master grade. As you can see, of course, you get the main suit itself. He comes with 6 funnels, which were very tedious to build. There are 4 petals on each of these that you have to cut out, clean up, everything, but it was fun. Shield, he's got 3 missiles that you can remove on the shield. He's got his heat hawk and a gun. Now he also comes with beam sabers. Now on this suit, the beam sabers are stored in the forearm, so they give you these little faux forearm sabers to go in the forearms that are about yay big. It's just the top part of the beam saber stuck into the arm. But they also give you 2 of these. Of course, you can remove the beam effect, but he has 2 beam sabers that you can display him with. It's got the little hole, goes into the peg in the holding hand. And I want to talk about these beam effects. These are probably the coolest beam effect parts I've seen on a kit so far. They are so bright, so vibrant, and durable. They're not really flimsy like most of the beam effects that you get with other kits. He also comes with 2 of these that go on either side of the heat hawk. You can do it in the shield or by itself, but these are just majestic looking. I wish that they would do more beam effects just like this. He also comes with 2 of the smaller versions of that same beam effect, and an assortment of hands to be displayed with open hand, closed fist, holding hands and such. And it also comes with an action base adapter, which at the end of the video I will be putting him in a dramatic pose on an action base so you can see how that works. And for a size comparison, I want to do this because this is a real grade 1/44 scale, right? And as I mentioned earlier, he is bigger than the master grade 1/100 scale heavy arms. Now, height wise, he is a little bit taller. He's of course got his gun on his shoulder, but in body wise too, he's just a massive chunky boy. And I love it. Before going into the articulation, I do want to go over the shield a little bit closer, right? So as you can see, the level of detail underneath is very, very high, very defined. Like I said, it has missiles that you can remove, and the reason for that is you can actually have the beam hawk or heat hawk stored underneath, and to take it out, you just get up underneath it, and it pegs in very securely under there, but you can actually bring it down. As you can see, holes, peg, and you can bring it down here, which in turn would actually, void out the missiles, and then you can take these pieces here, slot them in, and then you have, the big shield of death, kind of reminiscent to me of the Sandrock Customs shield that you can do that with. But he does come with, like I said, the Heat Hawk that stores away, and it's a 3-peg system. Here you have 3 little pegs here that go into these 3 little holes here, and it does hold rather securely, a lot more securely than I anticipated it to, so that's good. We talked about the shield, now let's talk about the gun. Now the gun is really, really cool. It has a moving hilt to help with the posing and actually holding the weapon. Has a removable magazine, which is pretty neat. I mean, I'm not sure if that's actually supposed to be removable, but I mean, it is removable, so it's something you can do. It does have a little bit of color accent in the form of the red, which is a nice touch. And the gray does break it up just a little bit, but my favorite gimmick of this is the sliding, I guess, shotgun kind of style thing, which I don't think this is it might be a shotgun, but I think that's really neat. The fact that you can actually, it's just, it's pretty cool. But as far as guns go, it's just a couple pieces like any other. You got a separate piece for the actual barrels at the end. This is 2 halves sandwiched over this, and of course the hilt and the magazine. But all in all, very neat, and it's a very big weapon, which suits a very big mobile suit. Now, this being a real grade, one of their big things is like opening panels and hatches and such. So let's start with the backpack, right? So the fuel tanks are just on ball joints. This one is a little loose. It's actually the socket, not the part, because I've actually rotated them around and it's still the same either way. The little missile pods up top will splay open for you, like so. They only go just a little ways, but they do open rather easily. And let's take out one of these funnels and take a look at that. As you can see, simple design. I mean, it's the design it's supposed to be, and you can flay these little wings out. It's got a little thruster in the back, and there you go. That's the funnel all opened up, and I don't know if you can see this very well, but down in the bottom there are a little molded detail down in there where this would plug into. It's very mechanical looking. It's going to look really nice when I have it all painted up inside there in a more metallic, brighter color so you can see it better. Let's just close up like so. And that's pretty much the articulation for the backpack, except for the middle thruster, I guess, guard can go up and down. The thruster itself doesn't move, it's just the armor above it. And this armor on the sides can split open like so. So you can actually have a open hatch-ish look to the backpack. Now for this next part, I'm going to actually remove the fuel tanks so that you can see this better, but the butt flap, basically, can move out ever so slightly, and whenever you do, it exposes that extra little bit of mechanics in the bottom, which I think is very, very cool. This guy is just packed full of detail. The side skirts can slide down, although this is a little difficult to do whenever you have him all together, but they do slide out like so. And it does this on both sides, but it just, you know, opens up, adds a little bit more of, I guess it would be exposing psycho frame. This front skirts don't really do anything. They do rotate outwards for any kind of posing ability that you need. The head, of course, is on a ball joint, just moves up and down, but this does slide up, which is how the cockpit technically opens up, because the cockpit is in the head, but you can open it up, expose that mono eye. Now the chest area doesn't really do a whole lot. It's extravagant looking. He does have a bit of an ab crunch. I wouldn't say it's a lot, but it's a bit of an ab crunch. Okay, let's move on to the shoulders. Now the shoulders slide out ever so slightly on this. Now on the master grade, of course, this opens up way more, but it does slide out just a little bit to expose that, I guess, psycho frame again. These are on separate hinges, so you can get some very nice posability out of that. And of course, the thing on the end, which are thrusters, can move up and down. And that's basically it for the shoulders. Now, this shoulder piece is separate from the arm itself, so it can move freely. The arm can, you know, move up. It could do a 360 if you really wanted it to around the body. Rotation. Now, all of this is really stiff on mine, so I will definitely have to take care when painting. I'm going to be masking off all of the connecting points, all that good stuff. It's got a double jointed elbow, and it does have this piece of armor here that you know, helps whenever you do this to make it not look so hollow. And one thing I really like about the arms is the back of the arm, there's a piston that actually actuates whenever you bend the arm. I love that. Now, one gimmick of the arm that is really neat, threw me off actually, is whenever you go to hold the gun, right? What you're meant to do is actually pull this panel out, like so, and then you slide the hand out so the arm actually extends, and then you push this back in, and it makes it where he has more room to actually hold the gun, because if you try to hold the gun with this in, it doesn't really work. So that is a really weird and neat mechanic that they have put into this forearm to make it where you can actually hold it. Now, I have not built the master grade, so I don't know if that's a normal thing for the Sazabi. This is my first time building a Sazabi, so there's that. Now, nothing really happens down here. From what I've seen, the master grade can splay open a little bit more there. For the legs, Now, the front skirt only moves up about that far, but I mean, it gives you as much as you really need to move that leg up, and the back can move slightly. But what you can do here is a double jointed knee, and you can get full bend out of that. Well, full bend, his legs are so bulky and big that full bend is kind of stretching it, but there is a piston down in here that, you know, actuates whenever you do that. Now, this is all separated. This is a very, very crazy leg. The legs are the first thing that you build in the instructions, and I was just blown away. But this is separate, as you can see, and then this little side piece is actually separate and can be moved up and out slightly, not too much, but slightly. The ankle gives you plenty of movement there, down about that much, up a lot. You can actually put his toe up in his shin guard, which is insane. There is toe bend, other toe bend, so you can actually get like a crazy like bent down foot deal, and then his heel actually moves slightly. To hold his weapons, right, comes with different hands. I will say that the peg and hole system that this uses on the forearms holds the hands in ridiculously hard. I mean, when I say ridiculously hard, I mean it's I'll take this one out. It's and they're really good. Like, that was a lot of force to take that out, and to put it in, it's just as much force. And so you don't have to worry about his hands falling out, that's for sure. Another kind of scary deal that whenever I was building this was on the legs. These two parts, whenever they actually go into the leg itself, they line up very, very, they're not easy to line up, let me put it that way. And you can find yourself getting it into a really tight situation, literally, as it is ridiculously tight. Getting them on, which my next step is disassembly, and I am a little concerned about doing that. So I'll have to be extra careful around here. And the only other really difficult thing was these little pieces that slide out on the back. Now, in the instructions, it has you peg it into, let's see if I can get it in frame here, peg it into a little hole on the side of the backpack, right? And you have to put it in and then rotate it down. And I swear it feels like you're going to break the piece. You're not going to break it, fortunately, but it does feel like you're going to break that piece. And it had me very nervous putting that on, especially since that was like one of the last things to build. But all in all, a fantastic kit. I love it to pieces. I cannot wait to get this thing disassembled and paint it, which is actually a segue into the next part of the video, where I go over what I actually plan to do with this kit. So, of course, you know, I plan on doing the inner frame just like I did on the new Gundam first, and that's going to be, of course, in various metallics. What I plan to do is actually use a custom mixture, because I want it to be darker than the inner frame just a little bit than I did on the new. So I plan on using like a silver and then toning that silver down, or darkening that silver down, with a gunmetal. So we'll see how that goes, but I primarily wanted to talk about the red. Just like I did on the new Gundam, where I used the Mr. Crystal Color Sapphire Blue, I have now got Mr. Crystal Color Ruby Red, and I'm planning on doing the kit in the Ruby Red, and then using the Splash 2K over top of it to make it pop just like it did with the blue on the new Gundam. But what I want to try to do is I want to try to get a two-tone with the crystal color. So I know crystal color over black, I know what it's going to do. It's going to make a very deep, really pretty red, because you know, of course, prime with black, you miscoat with this, and then whenever you put the 2K over top of that, it really just comes to life. But I want to try to do two different shades of red. And what I'm thinking is if I used the gray surfacer and put this over it, I'm hoping, now of course I'll do a spoon test first, but I'm hoping that I can get two different tones of red to put on this kit to break it up so it's not so monotonous, and it'll add that little bit of intrigue to it. So when you look at it, you kind of go, is that different? You know? So I want to try to do that. If you guys happen to know before I do the spoon test if that'll actually work or not, let me know in the comments, and I will take that into great consideration. You know, worst case scenario, it'll be a little bit monotonous, but I'll just use the black with the Mr. Crystal color, and it'll just be a very, very deep, nice crimson, and it'll be very pretty. And especially when I put the decals on, it will, you know, break it up a lot. Speaking of decals, as you know, with the new Gundam, I used Delpy decal. So, same case here. I ordered the holographic Delpy decals for this kit. Only the gold is holographic, but I kind of like that. The rest of it's just in white. So whenever I get these gold metallics over the already metallic paint job I'm going to be doing, I think it's going to look really fantastic. And one last thing, of course, is how to put it on the action base. Now, it comes with this base adapter, and on the bottom here, there's a little, I guess, connection port there, and what you're meant to do is actually put it in and slide it backwards slightly, and there you go. And you can put him on an action base and have him up in the air for any kind of posing that you may want to do. And with that, that will be the end of my review on the Real Grade Sazabi and my plans for what to do with it in the future. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It is my first ever review, so any, you know, critiques or anything, just leave them down in the comments. Constructive criticism is always welcome, and I hope you like my plans going forth with this kit, the plans for the paint job and such. Once again, fantastic kit, definitely worth the money. You know, if you're in a battle between getting the real grade or the master grade, honestly, both of them would probably be. I've never built the master grade myself, but I've seen a tremendous amount of people that have and love it, but this kit to me was fantastic. It's a little bit smaller than the master grade, but boy does it pack in every little thing it can. The articulation's great, the build itself is great, it doesn't fall apart, it's got, you know, nice gimmicks, and it looks great. As you can see, you can pull off outstanding poses with this kit. I will put a link in the description below to anywhere that I get, you know, any of my supplies, to Delpy decal, anything like that. Once again, big thank you to my buddy Huy Ta for, you know, giving me this kit for my birthday. It's going to go fantastic with my new, and in the next video, you know, next is going to be disassembly and getting the inner frame ready for paint. Once again, a like and subscribe would be appreciated if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.